rabbi said and predicted a lot of people, and here you all are. As most of you know, I was born, I was raised. I spent the first 25 years of my life in New York City. I called the neighborhood I called the neighborhood my Jewish state, my town. My mother, Clara Ruder, had come from Romania. My father, Jacob Goodman, had come from Russia. My brother, Saul Meyer Goodman, my only sibling, had come from New York City about 4 years before me. I can talk without the mic, probably. My parents kept the traditional Orthodox Jewish home. We observed the Sabbath. We kept kosher. We observed all the Jewish holidays and rituals. I had 19 first cousins. Family was always loud and noisy and crowded. Let me talk about the mic.
Just keep going, Sylvia, it's good.
Okay. The nearest synagogue to us was about 10 blocks away. We didn't belong because of financial reasons. But sometimes when they had extra money, they would buy a ticket to the synagogue for the high holy day services. And my mother and I would sit upstairs. My father and brother sat downstairs. Around the corner from where we lived, the rabbi lived in his own home. He had a Heder there. All the boys, including my brother, went there for Hebrew lessons, I think, and I think they got prepared for their Bat Mitzvahs. I never went. On my brother's actual Bat Mitzvah day, I remember my mother and I and the rabbi's wife were in the basement in the kitchen preparing lunch, similar to what we'll have later, but we were not allowed to observe the service. I never even thought about it, but I realized my mother wasn't even upset. It was what was going on then. In 1953, I married Noah Slonim. Noah had come from a secular Jewish home. He was more interested in education. During World War II, he was in the army. He fought in Germany, and from then on, he lost all interest in religion of any kind. We moved to California, where we raised our 4 children, Samuel, Mark, Debbie, and Robert. We joined a Reform temple, and the children attended Sunday and Hebrew school. While they went to school, I studied with them. I learned to read Hebrew. I learned the prayers, the blessings, the songs. This was a long time ago. But I always enjoyed the educational classes that were available. The boys were all Bat Mitzvah at 13. My daughter Debbie wasn't Bat Mitzvah till age 56 at Temple Bat. I think that's when the seed of the Bat Mitzvah for me was planted, but it took Rabbi Zayman to make this day happen. Last spring, Rabbi Zayman was mentoring an intern, Rabbi Carl Sayers. One of his lectures taught us why we say the blessing, Baruch Shem Kavod Malchut Le'olam after the Shema quietly. It seems all the angels were saying the blessing while Moses was on top of Mount Sinai. He heard the blessing, he loved it, it was beautiful, and he brought it down and taught it to the Israelites. once, and they kept saying it. One day the angels came down and they heard them saying the blessing, and they told Moses, only angels are allowed to say this blessing. Now this is a dilemma. He wanted to say it, but he wasn't sure. He didn't know when or if he would ever become an angel. So he figured it out, that if he said it to himself or quietly, it would be okay. And we have followed that, except on Yom Kippur, we're allowed to say it out loud. Last spring, the rabbi also, aside from the class, which I joined, gave us history classes every 2 or 3 weeks. One of her classes taught about the timeline of Jewish movements. We went from strict orthodoxy to conservative to reform, back to conservative, back to orthodox, back to conserve, and all the splinter groups. It was then in my exploration of myself that I realized I fall in 2 or 3 categories. I also realized I can't put a label on me, and I can't put a label on anyone else. Labels aren't necessary. You should only live and let live. What else did I learn? Nothing. Little did I know how hard this would be. Little did I expect this type of a celebration, and I'm really happy to be here. I have to thank Rabbi Zayman for the extra help she gave me to overcome some of my handicaps, for writing the booklet that's in your hand and which she put together so the summit would have a Rosh Chodesh ceremony, service every month from now on. I thank my family for listening to this speech, whatever, for many times, and for all the people that helped me learn the Shema. Thank you all for being here today.
Yeah,